Hi, salam alaikum.
Hi, salam alaikum. Peace and blessings.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? All praises is due to Allah. Once again, we get to be here with the queen of rap. All praises is due to Allah. We are so grateful once again to be able to come back and be with you all here at the Queen of Rap. As you know, I am your brother Dawu, a.k.a. Brother Carthrell Muhammad. This is my beautiful wife, my queen, a.k.a. Sister Natalie, a.k.a. Nafiza Ali, the queen of rap. All praises are due to Allah. We are so glad to be with each and every one of you. As you all already see, that we have actually put in the chat. We put an article in the chat. Give me a second. Y'all just gotta make sure that we are good. Okay, something happened here. It's on. Can you all hear me okay?
Let me
see. Test. Okay. It's on. Can you all hear me okay? Okay, all right. I'm just making sure everybody can hear me. All right. And as you all can see, we have already went ahead and put some information in the chat. We've already put some information in the chat for you. We're going to be dealing with continuing in our theme with disaster preparedness. And one of those things that we deal with in disaster is stress, okay? And so we wanted to come on and talk about the stones and crystals that we can utilize in stressful situations. So we'll get and delve deep into that in just a little bit. But you all know, if you've been here with us any amount of time, you know how we begin with a little bit of theme music. So we want to, get everybody energized.
That's right.
All right, so give me a second and... All right. How y'all feeling that out there? Yeah. Come on. All right.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, I think we got your attention, right? All praises due to Allah. Yeah. We are honored that we are blessed to spend a little bit of time with you, and that you give us a little bit of space in your divine mind. We really do appreciate that. We do not take it for granted because we know without you, we cannot be successful. We know that the reality of why we're doing what we're doing is because of each and every one of you, whether you're listening now or you listen in the future. Oh, yes, long live Muhammad. That's right. Absolutely and completely.
That's right.
That's right. That is right. Yes. So we really do appreciate it. You know, we've had a fantastic time today. We've had a fantastic time on our last 2 shows. We started out this morning talking about disaster preparedness.
Right.
And that was on MindSpark Creations. Then we followed that up on Love My Kidneys with disaster preparedness and how to eat to live.
Right.
Oh, that was powerful when we premiered a wonderful lecture by Brother Nuri, parts of it that talked about how to eat to live and the importance of how to eat to live from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. All praise is due to Allah for that. And we're continuing in that line today with disaster preparedness, how to deal with stress. Because definitely in these situations, the one thing that you're going to run into is stress, and how you deal with it is very important because that stress can absolutely mean your life or death. If you don't handle it correctly, if you're not in the right spirit, the right heart, the right mind, it could definitely mean your life, depending on what kind of disaster you're dealing with. So this is a very important subject. You know, God willing, we're gonna next week, if it's Allah's will, we'll come back and bring a doctor in the house to kind of talk about a little bit more about that. We're going to talk about it on our level, and then we'll bring in some experts that will help us delve deeper into the subject. But once again, I get to do my favorite thing that I love to do, and that is to introduce my soulmate, my queen. I mean, we have our, you know, our little moments, but I love her dearly, absolutely and completely. All praises are due to Allah. I'm glad that she is my wife. I'm glad that she is my friend. I'm glad that she is my sister and she is your sister.
That's right.
So I bring her to you. All praises due to Allah, the Queen of Rap. Nafiza Ali. All praises due to Allah.
Due to Allah. Assalamu alaikum, friends and family. Praying everybody is awesome and that you have been awesome. I really do. That is my sincere prayer, is for you to have peace and harmony in your life. It's one of the reasons I do what I do, is to help bring that peace and harmony into your life. We're going to read an article out of the Final Call newspaper that is going to talk about stress and some of the ways of dealing with stress. And I think if we all can remember a time in our life where we were going through something stressful, think about how you handled it. You know, some people, depend on the situation. Some people, they go and eat. Some people get so upset they want to fight. You know, there are different things that come up inside of us. You know, our Leviathan that comes up inside of us when the stress gets piled on us, when things don't go our way, when we, you know, feel like, and I'd have to say this was me today, I feel like if I give you my opinion and my thought and I think I'm right, you should listen. But that's very arrogant, really, family, that, you know, sometimes we put things on other people and expectations on other people. And that's not fair. Nobody has to listen to you. No one has to, you know, accept your thoughts or your opinion, no matter how right you think you are. So in the moment, I had to quiet myself. And one of the things for me is a blessing is that I have my chakra bracelet. Okay. And so what I did was I held on to my amethyst and I focused on my amethyst and what amethyst does, right? Amethyst brings joy in your life, but it allows you to see things from God's perspective. And so I know that about amethyst. And so as I put my fingers on the amethyst and kind of pressed it onto my arm, that was my focus. That was my concentration. And I felt my stress level go down. Okay. So we have to have ways to get through the stress, right? Most important is that we have to think through it. You have to think through stressful situations because they will happen in life. You know, that is just a norm. I would tell the girls that I was raising that, you know, don't create drama because drama come for free. You know, life will do stuff. And at any given moment, there's this emergency. There's this disaster. There's this stressful time that you're experiencing. We recently, we mentioned it on the other show. We just moved into our space. As you all can see, it's a little bit more room. We got our books behind us and we're all excited about our new place. Yes, there was stress along with it. And one of the stressful things was when we moved in, it was a smaller kitchen than what we're used to. And it was a gas stove, which we're not really used to in many, many years. But the way the apartment set things up, the refrigerator door opens right next to the stove. And the knobs are on the bottom instead of on the top away, you know, where you have to intentionally turn it, not accidentally. And that's what happened. The knob was accidentally turned. And one of the boxes, as we were moving in, boxes and stuff everywhere, caught fire. So it was very stressful in that moment. But by Allah's grace, we did not panic. We handled the situation. Now, although the pathway was not clear, the water pressure was surely moving slower than I wanted it to at that moment when there was a fire, you know. So we had to work through it. And then after we experienced that, we didn't allow stress to have us take it out on one another. You know, it was like, okay, this happened. You know, it was a situation, call the insurance company, you know, let the apartment complex know what's going on. You know, things happen in life where you have emergencies, where you have stress points that, you know, really can take you up a notch in your stress, but it's how you deal with it. When you go to the God with your stress, after you get through the situation, you know, my father taught me that, how to remain calm in difficult situations. And I'm grateful to Melvin Gwynn. I love you, Daddy, forever, you know, because he was that kind of person. I don't care if the whole house was on fire. He was going to be cool about it. He was going to like, look, you do this, you do that, you do this, and you do that. Now afterwards, and you know, like I did when I was a little girl, started a fire. Oh, I'm not going to go there. But anywho, he talked to me, you know, and expressed to me the danger, you know, that can exist. So, you know, as we go through stress, it is extremely important that we think through the situation and then we have mechanisms in our life that help us to calm down.
Right.
And really evaluate what's going on and how you're handling it. Because in the hour that we're living in right now, how you handle something can, like my husband said, determine your life or your death. You know, as people out in the street that are angry, you know, they come to you and you know, they're raging. How do you handle that? Do you rage right back with them? Do you go there with them? Or do you calm that situation down? You know, and sometimes for those who carry their stones in their pocket, put your hand in your pocket on your stones, you know, and gather the strength and the energy from that stone, because we know that the stones carry energy because they were in the earth and they were absorbing earth's energy, right? And different minerals give off different energies. So having those in your environment, having the stone in your environment, you know, I really like the chakra bracelet, because no matter what situation you're going through, you can hold on to one of them stones and meditate on the properties of it, right? If you're in a dangerous situation, you know, and you're not sure how to get out of that dangerous situation, then, you know, you can hold on to, I'm looking for mine right here. the tiger eye. Hold on to the tiger eye, because tiger eye is a protecting stone. And then so it gives you an opportunity to meditate on the protection. You got God's protection with you 24/7, right? So that stone is going to remind you that God is with you at all times, regardless of the situation that you may experience. When we talked earlier this morning, we showed a part of the workshop from Savior's Day talking about disaster preparedness. And Sister Lisa R. Muhammad, one of the skits that, well, I guess you could say, what if you don't say, one of the skits that she did, was about safety and being secure in your environment, knowing your environment, being aware of what's going on, because things can happen quickly.
Yes, they can.
Very quickly. If you've ever been in any situation, where there was someone with a gun, there was someone trying to rob you, and you got to be quick on your feet. But if you're the type of person that the first thing you do is panic and start spinning in a circle, that's not going to help.
Right.
And I know people like that. I'm not going to call no names. I know some personal people that, that's their way of dealing with situations, is just to spin around like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. No, we have to change our minds when it comes to the hour that we're living in, because at any moment something can happen and we want to be as prepared as possible. Right. So we're going to read the article. And if you have any questions or thoughts, then share them. Yes. All right, Brother Anthony. Thank you. It is true. It is, and if you have some thoughts that you want to share too, Brother and Terry Harris, if you all have some thoughts that you want to share on this subject, please, we'll share it on the show as well, because we value what it is that you think. And this is, why we do what we do, is so that we can share what we have been given, but also we know that Allah has blessed you with so much as well. So like I said, it's an article that was written about stress from the Final Call. And because my husband's eyes are a little bit better than mine, I'm going to let him read.
For now.
Right. I'm eating my carrots, right?
All right. So family, give me a second while I pull it up. I already put the link to it in the chat already.
Okay.
So you will have it. All right. So you won't be able to see me for a second because I'm going to read this article. So please bear with me. This is, of course, from the Final Call newspaper. This particular article is by Sister Ebony S. Muhammad, who has a health and wellness magazine. I forget the name of it right now. But this article was published December 8, 2010. And the name of it is called The Power to Overcome Stress, Accepting the Challenge to Change. Let's begin by stating that all the strategies and principles suggested within this article, and God willing, the article to follow regarding living a stress-free life, I've put into practice myself. When I say stress-free, I'm not stating that you will not experience stressful moments, but if you are willing to analyze, examine, and attempt to put these strategies into practice, the stress you are experiencing will become so insignificant and you will be under your control so much that you will not refer to it as stress, but as an opportunity for empowerment and emotional freedom. Accepting the challenge to change does not imply changing who you are to please others. Let's be clear about that. Accepting the challenge to change can be understood, in other words, as gaining control over your life and allowing your circumstances to dictate the potential for freedom, survival, love, and belonging, power, and fun. Rosenthal, HG, 1998. This is the beginning of your reality check and possibly the start of controlling all within your realm of 360 degrees. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches that the only thing constant or guaranteed in life is change. So the first question you should ask yourself is, how well do you accept and adapt to change. Although we're inclined to the ability of controlling the stress level in ourselves, we may be unaware of how to do this. As a result, we submit to our condition as opposed to calling for a change from within. Unfortunately, this is where we tend to go wrong, and this is possibly the starting point of inviting stress in our lives. We have been granted free will by Almighty Allah, God, which means we have the capability of creating the peace, healing, happiness, and success we yearn for. Therefore, how much power do you actually hold in the concept of change? The answer, much more than you think. However, the power of change does not reside outside of you. In fact, it comes from within and from your creative power to command and or influence that which is necessary for well-being. One of the best quotes that depict the message within this article is "Be the change you want to see." As a cliche it may appear, this is a very profound statement. You cannot expect others to change or your conditions to change if you're not initiating the evolution within yourself. So the second question you must ask yourself is, what is it about your surroundings, including the people in which you wish to see change? The third and most important question is, how can you influence the change to occur? Starting with yourself. You must have a thorough knowledge and understanding of your stressors in order to de-stress and gain some form of control, or they will continue to control and master you. Now, you must begin to wage war against these stresses, not physically, but psychologically, although it may involve removing certain people from your life. That is a reality you may need to consider. In closing, I find it necessary to distinguish healthy stress from unhealthy stress because there is a difference. Healthy stress is a type of pressure, and internally or externally influence that encourages growth and development for your benefit and possibly for the benefit of others. For example, imagine you are granted a major promotion at your job. You are granted a higher paying position that is considerably more demanding. The kind of stress can raise your level of professionalism, creativity, and networking skills. However, an example of unhealthy stress is consciously deciding to procrastinate in managing responsibilities deemed as high priority so that you can partake in matters that cannot and will not avail you in your quest for living stress-free. Your ability to change, to accept the challenge to change will affect your usual way of reacting to everyday events and people. Your priorities will begin shifting, and matters that once seemed worth getting worked up over will soon begin submitting themselves to you. Right here and right now is what matters the most. Are you ready for that kind of power to overcome stress? More to come, God willing.
All right.
All praise due to Allah.
You know, the only thing that kept popping up in my mind was, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. I think that's one of my favorite scriptures, outside of let your light so shine before man that they see your good works and glorify your Father whom is in heaven. So, you know, when I think about that, fam, we do. You know, I know some people, and I'm sure you know some people. And if this is a reflection of you, then, you know, let's grow. But some people, every time you talk to them, they got a stressful situation. Every time you talk to them, somebody did something to them. You know, whether it be their husband, whether it be, you know, their wife, their dog, their kids, their job, you know, their mother-in-law, whatever. It's like they always have this, always got an issue, you know, and it becomes stressful for you. So you can either continue to deal with that and let them dump on you, or you can help them through changing their mind, or you can distance yourself. But at the end of the day, you have to find a way to remove that stress out of your life. Now, of course, today we're talking about disaster preparedness and the stress that comes along with that. But the people in your environment during disaster, can really determine how you come through a situation. So if you're close to somebody and they're always depressed or they're always stressing, then there are some mechanisms that can help them through that. And, you can help them to get to that process. Of course, a lot of Black people don't believe in therapy. They don't believe in counseling. Some understand in the nation that Dianetics is important because it helps you to take the charge out of stressful situations. Because things that happened to us when we were children, it remains with us until we confront it, until we deal with it. And then when we deal with it, then the next time that something like that happens, or a certain scent come up, or an environment that reminds us of a previous situation, we don't become so upset, and balled up on the inside, but we've learned how to deal with it. And the more that we can do that, the more that we can take the charge out of situations that may have disturbed us earlier in our life, then when situations happen again, then we're able to handle it better. We're able to handle it as adults. A lot of times we are stuck in that childlike mind when it comes to stress. And we have to grow past being, affected by every single thing that happens around us. Learning how to deal with it. And I do believe that crystals help through that process. Having them in your environment, having them in your home, having them on your person, in your pocket, in your purse, if that's where you choose to carry them. But stones can help you through a lot of stressful situations, because there, like I said before, there's a certain energy that is on each and every one of those stones. But when you focus your attention and you start pulling the energy from that stone, then you're going to get the relief that you're looking for. And I truly believe that, honey. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, my wife so beautifully been talking on that.
I think that's why he put the bookshelf behind us, everybody. Because this is definitely his source of where we go to. We try to bring you as much actual facts as we can.
In this study guide, this volume number 2, this 18th study guide is called Rising Above Emotion into the Thinking of God. If you have not availed yourself of this book or this study, we highly recommend that you do so.
Right.
It is open to the public. That is every Friday. That's every Friday at 7:30 Central Standard Time.
Right.
That's every Friday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. To get that book, it's called Self-Improvement, the Basis for Community Development. You can pick that up at the Final Call store.
Right.
Now, we're talking about disaster preparedness and stress. Now, we know that just put as one of the things that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has us to do in the study guides is put ourselves in the shoes of people and situations. So just say, for instance, that the situation has gotten so dire now that you have to leave your home. You have to leave all of your readiness, preparedness supplies where they are because you just couldn't grab it. All you were able to do is grab your to-go bag, all your food that you stored up, all of these things that you had, and you had all the right equipment and all the right things. And unfortunately, just say maybe a tornado came through or a hurricane or something came through. And now You got to leave all of those things. And you can imagine the stress of that, because if you've been doing it right and basically, excuse me, if you've been doing it right and you've been storing up your food, your water, and all those things, and now all of that's gone in the blink of an eye with a tornado or with a hurricane or whatever the calamity may be.
Right.
You know, you at that point, if you say, well, you know, God, well, why did you do this to me? And so on, you know, instead of number one, getting your to-go bag and then getting to moving, you know, you can put yourself in some serious danger just from that, because instead of looking at the danger of the situation, you got emotionally wrapped up in the reality that all of your stuff that you saved up is gone. Okay? You know, that is a stressor for real, because you spent good money, you spent good time doing those things, but the reality of the matter is that can be a reality for any of us. That can be a reality for any of us, you know, that you just have to leave that stuff because the danger is so great. You know, how do you handle that now?
Right.
You know, how do you handle it now? You know, we pray that none of us are put in that situation, but we don't know. We really don't know. We do know that there are many more calamities to come, you know, so we don't know what kind of situation it is. But as Muslims, one of the things that we can be comforted about is if we are true to our practice, that half of my bowl of soup belongs to my brother or sister. In other words, if I got, you got. And if I know another believer and this happened to me, then maybe I can get to them. And then who knows how, when things die down, all of my stuff may be there, especially if I stored it away and so on. You know, some of it may still be there. And if they don't live far, I may be able to retrieve it later. But the main point then is to get out of the danger of that situation, you know, and not really think about that, all of that, and all the money and all the time and all that. You don't have time. If it's that kind of situation. You have to rise above emotion quickly and then be able to move out and continue on with your escape plan that you all had planned. If you on top of your preparedness training, if you've been on top of it, then you know that you all are to meet up at a certain place and so on. And so now that is that kind of time. I didn't say that it would be necessarily easy, but it is realistic to what it is. Sometimes you just got to breathe through it, pray through it, and really keep on moving and just understanding that your life at that point was more valuable than anything that you had in that house. Because if the calamity took you out, you know, you couldn't go back and get it. You couldn't do none of that because you wouldn't be here. So that's just something to think about when we're talking about disaster preparedness and dealing with stress. And, you know, you just got to really think about it. I'll just give you one more quick situation. You know, some of us, we have people that are disabled in our families, and they won't be able to necessarily move as quickly, you know, and you may have to possibly carry them for a distance, you know, to get them out of danger, you know, because they just can't. You know, they just can't. There's no way they can do it. So you just have to be willing and ready to do that, because you don't know when disaster strikes, you know, how things are going to be, You don't know the exact circumstances. You can train for the circumstances all the day long, but if it hits you while you sleep, or it hits you while you are away from home or whatnot, then you have to deal with the reality of that situation. Then, for example, think about all the brothers and sisters that were in Hurricane Katrina. Some of them were out of town. Okay. Some of them were out of town. Some of them were out of town. Some of them were other places, and they just heard the news that their home had been destroyed, that their business had been destroyed, that, you know, their farm or whatever is gone, you know, because of the hurricane. So you got to know that, as Almighty God Allah says in the Holy Quran, that's one of the things that we will be tried with is loss of life, loss of property, all of these things. We are told that those will be some of the things that we could actually expect. Mm-hmm. That we could actually expect that some of us would lose property, we would lose lives, we would lose, you know, those type of things. But it says for us to be patient and seek refuge in Allah in a time like that. So I just wanted to say that and share that, you know, just to kind of put your feet in those shoes, you know, because again, anything can happen at any given time.
You know, and that is the reason that we speak on meditation and focus when it comes to your crystals and your stones. Because as you study your crystals and your stones, then you're learning the properties of each one. So as you are in the process of improving who you are as an individual with using the stones, then when stressful situations come up, you've already, you know, you're at a better position than most people because you've already spent time on yourself, on improving yourself during stressful times and removing certain stresses out of your life. I mean, the scenario that my husband just gave would become very stressful. But when you balance it with, I have my life, you know, that is the most important thing, is you can't do anything without life's energy.
That's right.
So the fact that God would spare you and allow you to live, then you always have the ability to recoup anything that you lose. And at the end of the day, you know, we don't know what scenario to expect. That's why we prepare for all of them as much as you can, you know. But I think the biggest preparation is the mind, you know, being able to function through situations, no matter how stressful they are. You know, one of the things in the disaster preparedness, they discuss how to handle a loved one's body that may decease during a disaster. Well, we already know that is bad enough that they, you know, passed away during a disaster, you know, but now you got to take that body and bury it. You got to find, you know, a way to, you know, wrap the body and deal with the body, because if you don't, then that life can end up taking everybody else's life, you know. So how do you function through that? I'm not saying at that moment you would go and get a crystal. Lord, help me. Help me. No, it's the preparation beforehand.
Right.
It's what you put into yourself before any kind of catastrophe ever happens to you. You know, take this time now for your meditation. Take this time now to learn about the different stones that can help you through situations, you know, where you can focus on those different things when you get a moment to breathe through it. Mm-hmm. You know, I watched I Am Legend last night with Will Smith, and it just, you know, made me think about disasters. You know, when things happen and all that he had to go through by himself. And then, you know, the one little friend he had was his dog. And then that dog passed away. So he became so distraught, not dealing with the stress properly. He became so distressed, he was ready to kill himself.
Right.
You know, that he was just done, you know, with everything. He was ready to kill himself. Well, unfortunately, a lot of people are at that point. So I think if we can prepare ourselves for really stressful situations, Sister Lisa said in the replay of the Savior's Day workshop, she said that in her mind, she runs through scenarios.
Right.
Now, I personally know Sister Lisa R. Muhammad, and she is correct. You know, that's who she is, you know, but she helped me to be able to do that too, to run through certain scenarios in my mind. What if this happens? What if that happens? How are you going to be prepared for this? How are you going to be prepared for that? So let's say if you're going to be taking a road trip, right? And you know that you're going to be driving through the night, then you need to have a flashlight in your car. Right. See, that's called running through the scenarios. What if I'm in an accident? What if my car stops on me? What am I going to do if the battery dies and I can't get light from the car?
Right.
You're going to need a flashlight. You're going to need, you know, maybe something to keep you warm if it's wintertime. So when you run through these scenarios in your mind, you've already worked it out. So when similar situations happen, you're already prepared. And it's not as stressful because it's not like it's new. You know, it's not like it's something that never crossed your mind. And unfortunately, a lot of people are at a disadvantage because we live in America and we think everything is just fine. You know, this is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. But we don't know. Hurricane Katrina, they weren't, you know, really, most people were not mentally prepared for something like that to happen. You know, there was no plan in place. So, you know, from my understanding to this day, there's still children that are detached from their families because they didn't have a meetup place when something happens. They didn't have, you know, Auntie, you know, Mary in Philadelphia to call and say, hey, this is where I am, you know. And so we have to work through these things in our minds and prepare ourselves, you know, for anything that may come up, fam, because we just living in that hour. You know, no matter how you look at it, we're living in that hour, and it is our responsibility to share with you as much information as we can to help you through it, you know, and meditating with the crystals, having those crystals in your life can help you through some very stressful situations.
Yeah. You know, and just, quickly, you know, yeah, my wife is right, because I like to do this. Just quickly, if you don't own this book, you need to get this book. Now, because it laid the foundation as to why these things are going on, God has blessed the Honorable Elijah Muhammad with a clear, crystal clear picture of what is going on and why, and all the elements that are in it. This book seems small, but it's so power-packed, so full of information. This picture, this book is jumping off the page today.
Absolutely.
It is jumping off the page right now as we speak. So if you don't own this book, go to Final Call store and pick that up for yourself. Read it for yourself.
That's right.
Read it with your family. Your church need to read this. Your masjid need to read this. This is real, because we're running into everything that he said.
Right.
And that is a fact. You know, so one of the things we want to do as well is we kind of pulled up another article. Give me a second. And we're going to talk about some of the, well, I'm going to let my wife just kind of talk about some of the crystals that you can use in these times of stress. What are some good crystals that you can use? I did already drop the article in the chat as well. So you can actually go ahead. Let me just make sure that, yes, I did. This one right here. the nyrituals.com. It actually gives you those 20 of the stones and crystals you can use during stress. My wife will jump in and kind of deal with some of the ones that's in there.
Well, there were 3 that at the beginning of the year I really stressed that were really necessary in the hour in which we're living. And then I have a bonus one, actually 2 bonus ones that I think are really important for us to spend some time with, meditating with, having them on our person. And the first one, of course, is the quartz crystal. The quartz crystal is one of the primary stones when it comes to crystals. You know, it allows clarity of mind, right? So in the hour that we're living in, we need to have that clarity of mind, you know, and the quartz crystal is also a good healer as well. So when we're dealing with any kind of mental stress, mental illness, things like that, the quartz crystal help us along our journey. So the quartz crystal is absolutely phenomenal for us to have in our life. If you don't or not familiar with stones, I would definitely start with the quartz crystal, because that is the one that really just kind of opens you up to allow you to feel the energies of other stones as well. Outside of the quartz crystal, the amethyst. Amethyst is used for your third eye chakra, which is to allow you to see things from a spiritual perspective, to be able to bring that positive energy into your life and deflect negative energy, right? So, of course, when you're going through stress, you don't need no negativity to be in doubt coming into your head. No, you need to see things from God's perspective. Why is this happening? How do I do this? You know, focusing on that energy between you and the God on how you're going to get through that situation, okay? The third one is shungite. Shungite is just pure energy itself. And it is also a grounding stone, you know, because sometimes when we're in a stressful situation, we start, you know, fantasizing about the worst thing that could ever happen to us. No, sometimes we need to be grounded. We need to, you know, feel the earth beneath us or in our hands to know that, you know, as strong and as solid as the earth is, so are we when we are connected to the God. Okay. So, you know, the shungite is one of those stones because of that type of energy that it is. And it's so grounding that it will help keep you not up in the air in all of your emotions,
right?
You know, help to bring you down, you know, to see things clearly and more stable. Okay. My bonus is the rose quartz. Rose quartz, because in the midst of madness, you have to have self-love. If you're not loving you, you're going to make some reckless decisions. But when you love yourself, when you love the people around you, you make better decisions because you want to make sure they're safe.
Right.
Okay. So the rose quartz is definitely a bonus. And for more grounding protection, that would be the tiger eye.
Yes.
Okay. Tiger eye is a protecting stone. When you're going through crisis, sometimes we feel vulnerable, right? You feel like you really don't have the protective coat that you need. And the tiger eye is one of those stones that help you to be in the mind of protection, knowing that God will protect you at every cost, right? Because your life is important. And if for some reason your life needs to be taken, know that it's being taken for God's purpose. Okay. We can't be afraid to give our life if necessary. Right. I don't want you to think that, you know, God is going to save you for every single thing, because it may be necessary for God's purpose. We are only here for a short period of time, and this life belongs to God. And we have to love our life, but know that if God decides it's time for us to go, it's time for us to go. We're going to do everything we can to fight for our life. But at the end of the day, God is in control. Right. And everyone that I know that I have lost in my life, they have served a purpose. And I have gained so much from that individual. Some were taken sooner than I wanted them to. But at the end of the day, this life don't belong to me. It belongs to Allah, right? So we're going to do everything we can to preserve our life, prepare ourselves to go through different events that is in front of us. But always know that when you stand, the minister said, when you right, you strong. When you wrong, you weak. Those weren't his exact words, but it was a scenario that his mother told to him. When you right, you can stand strong. But when you're wrong, you have no ground to stand on. You know, so we live our lives to the best of our abilities, striving to be the most righteous individuals that we can pull out of ourselves. And we leave the rest up to the creator of the universe because he is in control, you know, and I'm grateful if at any point that, you know, my life would be used to serve him, then I feel like my job has been well done, you know, and that he would be pleased with me. So, you know, those are my crystals that I suggest for stress. That is the quartz crystal, amethyst, shungite, rose quartz, and tiger eye. Okay, those are very excellent stones. You can go through the list. There are more stones that you can use, and you know, each one of them, you know, may give you a different benefit. So, you know, you get or choose what you feel is best for you. Okay. If you don't know where to get it and you want to be careful where you get your stones, because there are a lot of counterfeit stones out here. I know that don't make no sense as much as the earth produces, but there are people out here manufacturing stones in a lab. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're getting quality stones. I know one of the things that I do personally is I try to know the company that I'm getting my stones from.
Mm-hmm.
I go to one place here in Arizona that is called Madagascar. Their stones are authentic and they come from Madagascar. I have a brother out of Ghana who gets the malachite, right? Him and his wife are actually in their family business. They mine it and then they carve them and polish them. And that's their business. That's what they do. Sometimes online, if you don't do your own research, you can get some things that are not real. Okay. And if you don't know a lot about stones, you want to make sure your source is good. So I do my due diligence, family, to make sure that you get your absolute best when it comes to the quality of stones, whether it be a grade A, triple A, or B. I try not to go lower than that. But there are lower. And really, they put a grade on it the same way they do us. You know, they feel like some people in society are better than other people. But the fact of the matter is that if Allah put it in the earth, then it's good for us. Most things. There are some things that are harmful. You got to be careful. But my point is, amethyst, whether they call it grade triple A or grade D, it is a amethyst, and it's going to have the principles and the qualities and the benefits and the energy that you will find throughout all amethysts. Okay. Sometimes it's the color quality, the shape of it that have them to put a particular grade on it. But just know that if it comes from the God and comes from the earth, it is useful if it is used properly. Okay. So anybody have any questions, any thoughts? Yes, amethyst, shungite, quartz crystal, and rose quartz. That is, thank you. Those are definitely the stones that I suggest for you. Black tourmaline. I even have some ruby tourmaline.
Yep.
Man, those stones are just phenomenal. We did a show on that and on the rose tourmaline.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Tourmaline.
Ruby tourmaline. Yeah, it's got rubies in it. And the tourmaline. Oh, that was fire. And we're definitely have some more of those stones. So, fam, if you want something wrapped, if you want something done for you to help you in this hour, please, please, please feel free to inbox us, give us a call, let us know that you are interested in having something created for you. And on your journey and being stress-free as much as possible, we have a plethora of information available that can help you through that. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is an excellent source to help give you balance in your life when it comes to the unknown and what, things that you don't know that's out there that's a danger. But he has given me such strength through his strength, and through the believers that have come, into this knowledge, and just the strength that so many of the FOI and MGT have that has helped me on my journey. And so, if you want help on your journey, please feel free to contact us. Whatever we can do to help you to be a stronger and a better person, because at the end of the day, fam, we have to survive. We need you. We need you to survive. This is not an hour to give up. This is not the time to say, I can't do this. Yes, you can. You can do this. And you can do it because you have people around you that can help you through this. Prayer is the most important part of it all. Connecting to the God of the universe. Without him, we cannot survive. So we know that he is the source of strength, and that's who we pull our strength from. But he has put things in place, like we talked about on Love My Kidneys. He's put things in place for us to survive. And anybody that have tuned in before know that I'm real big about creating the environment. Creating the environment of survival. How do I create this environment, right? So going back to the show earlier where we talked about scenarios and, how to prepare yourself if you're out in the street or, in your home and there are dangers. How do you prepare yourself mentally? The same with How to Eat to Live with Love My Kidneys. How do I prepare my body to be able to withstand the impact of things that is going on outside of me? And then, of course, on the Queen of Rap, being prepared spiritually. Right? Using the stones to help strengthen us in our spiritual journey. It's creating an environment of survival. And I know I want to survive. I know my husband wants to survive. So that's what we do, is we create an environment. And let us help you create that environment, family. Let's get stronger together. We are definitely, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad told us, our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb. Well, we know an atomic bomb can tear some stuff up. Mm-hmm. Well, just imagine what we can build with our unity. Imagine the world that can happen, family, once we decide that we will survive, and we're going to survive leaning on God, not our enemy. Leaning on God for our survival, not expecting the United States of America to take care of us. Texas showed us, many situations have shown us, but Texas mayor said you on your own. Mm-hmm. Stop expecting the government to help you. They're not going to bring you no water. If they come and get you from off a rooftop, you blessed. We have to survive. When we were in Atlanta, and I'm going to close on this because we want to stick to our hour today. But when we were in Atlanta, I think it was the first year or the second year we were there was a flood where many of the areas were flooded.
Yes. Our
beloved brother Sharif Muhammad, and other FOI and MGT believers went out. They had a boat. Had a boat, and they went out and helped to save our people.
That's right.
That's the mind that we have to have, family. Disaster preparedness is being prepared not only for your survival, but for the survival of others around you. Letting your neighbor know that they need to prepare so that they're not knocking on your door asking for food because you've already told them to prepare.
Right.
These are the things that we have to do. And it's one of the reasons that we come on this show, because we want you to be aware. We want you to be mentally, spiritually, physically financially prepared for the hour that we're using it. Use that stimulus to go and put some food in your house. Use that stimulus to get yourself a stove with propane or get yourself a grill. You know, you're going to have to be able to prepare food for yourself. You know, you're going to need water. So, you know, let's get in the mind, family. Let's not be afraid of what's coming up in front of us. Prepared. Being prepared is what is key and vital to our survival. And you are so important. You're important enough that God came himself to show us and tell us. He's the one that gave this information to the, let me have the book, to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is not from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He wrote it, he shared it, but he was given it by the God of the universe to help save our life in this hour. If you listened to our show earlier, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if you can find one word untrue, that he would pay money, that he would give his life. That's credibility right there. When you can put, they say, put your money where your mouth is. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he did. But better than that, he put his life. So the wisdom that has been given to us is wisdom from God, family. And if you would just take a moment and really spend some time with the wisdom and the knowledge that is being shared with us from the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and the believers, we will find ourselves as a people in a better position and better equipped to survive the fall of America and the rise of the kingdom of God. That's where we pull our joy from, because we know that God is in control today. And because God is in control and I'm striving to be on the side of God, therefore the victory has already been won. So all praises due to Allah. Thank you all so much for coming in and sharing, you know, those praying hands, you know, and the all praises due to Allah. That means a lot, family. And we thank you all for stopping in. We had a viewer over here, Najee Muhammad. Thank you. And I pray that you have gotten something from what it is that we shared. Feel free to share the link. Just as a note, Facebook is stopping watch parties.
Yeah, coming up April
16th.
The 16th. Well, watch parties, you know, kind of like when
that's sharing.
No, just like when you do share, but you can do a watch party. They're gonna stop that. I don't know if they're gonna stop all lives and all of that.
Get this information while we can.
Get the information while you can.
That's the point.
I want to share a quick piece that I wrote.
Oh wow! We getting ready to get a treat?
A couple of days ago.
Okay.
And it was inspired by a question in the poetry chat, and the beginning words were, "When I arose." So we're gonna leave you on this. I wrote this 8/6/2021. When I arose, I learned that I was 8/6/2021.
It would have had to be 3.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, you're right.
We didn't make it there yet.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. No, I don't know. Anyway, I deal with that.
Okay.
All right. When I arose, I learned that I was limitless, infinite, eternal, and I could overcome any obstacle in my path. When I awoke, I realized I was enveloped in love, and I show love wherever I go. When I arose, I realized that my life is divine and has a divine purpose that I must fulfill. When I arose, I realized I am blessed, gifted, talented, and powerful beyond belief. When I arose, I realized that I am from the greats who built pyramids, hanging gardens, who put the Sphinx in the sand to let the world know the power of my ancestors. When I arose, I realized that my destiny is divinity, to grow the God in me to reality and shine brightly so the world can see the light in me and glorify the God who created me. When I awoke, I realized that I am a gift to the world, and so are you. When I arose, I was flying high as the eagles fly, envisioning and gaining clear sight to my ultimate destination. I hope you too can see when you arise all the wonders and surprise that's right in front of your eyes. Look in the mirror and see that true divinity in thee.
Oh, praises due to Allah. All right, that's me snapping, y'all. Y'all got y'all snap going on over there? That's how we appreciate some real poetry going on over here. See, that's substance. That's substance. I loved it. It was very beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing that on the Queen of Rap show. Y'all didn't know that we would have that kind of special gift today, but that was really beautiful. You know, we do have to understand the divinity within ourselves and understand how God loves us and that he would never leave us in this hour, right? You know, I know our enemy is against us, but he's nothing when it comes to the power of the God. So trust in him. Trust yourself, okay? Trust and believe that you will make it through every obstacle that comes in front of you, right? We just got to work through the stress. So we love you. We thank you. There's nothing that you can do about us loving you because that's our choice. And that way, sister say, auntie say, because that's my business. All praises due to Allah, family. Well, thank you for another wonderful Thinking Thursday.
Yeah.
It has been awesome from beginning to end. I've enjoyed my day tremendously. I thank you all for stopping in, sharing a few words with us, sharing your divine time and your mind. And the only thing we ask you to do is to what, honey?
Let the spark in your mind create a new reality. I just want to give a shout out to everybody. If I am not mistaken, yes, this is right. This month marks 1 year since we began our online shows, all 3 of them. It marks 1 year since we began our online shows, Mind Spark Creations, Love My Kidneys, and the Queen of Rap. And then we do an extra one from time to time called Let Us Build a Black Conscious Community. You'll begin to see more of that. Also, I'll be coming out with a new podcast, God willing, this month, dealing with the book that Almighty God Allah will bless me to write when we were in Belize. So look out for that. We are officially, let me just check. I just want to see. Give me 1 second. Okay. Because I just want to know if it caught up. Give me 1 second. All right. Yes. So as it stands right now, we are at 104 episodes. Right. 104 episodes in 52 weeks. 104 episodes in 52 weeks. All praises is due to Allah. And we thank Allah for keeping us consistent and on the journey. Of course, you know, we had to battle through ups and downs and whatnot. But the biggest thing that we pray, that we wish, is that we are inspiring somebody to be better than they were yesterday.
That's right.
You know, that is our greatest desire as the Savior, Master Father Muhammad, desire is that we accept our own and be ourselves. He said that is the greatest desire that he had for us, and that is our greatest desire that we have for you to accept your own and be yourself. This is why we do what we do each and every week, to inspire, to innovate, to show you that you too can do things just like this. Each and every one of us has a story.
That's right.
Each and every one of us has some things in life that we've dealt with that can help others. Don't think and leave it to everybody else.
Mm.
God has put a message in each and every one of you. So please, we look forward to seeing your shows, your blogs, your podcasts, and we are always up to be on your show to share anything that we can of value. All right.
Yes,
so
sir.
we appreciate you here at the Queen of Rap. Of course, we appreciate you and love by Kidneys, Mind Spark Creations, Farrakhan and Tucson, and everywhere we are. All praises
That's
is
right.
due to Allah. And we thank you, thank you, thank you, and continue to support. We pray that you would continue to support. Man, shout out to Phenomenal Radio for each and every week replaying our shows over there on Phenomenal
Yes.
Radio. Shout out to Slay Stone and the whole staff over there. Shout out to Pandora, because our podcast is on Pandora, Apple Music, Google Podcasts. We on at least 10 platforms. So if you type in Mind Spark Creations, we should come up. Even Spotify, we on there too.
There you go.
So all praises due to Allah for that. We just wanted to mention that so that you know, wherever you like to listen, if you type in Mind Spark Creation, most likely, we are there. So all praises due to Allah.
So go to YouTube, fam, and subscribe.
Yeah, we do have a YouTube channel, Mind Spark Creations, as well. If you're not a subscriber to our YouTube, please go there and do that. And lastly, we're going to close out with this. For those of you who are looking to enhance your immune system and to help it modulate and to get stronger and stronger, Pax-Immune is a good choice.
Yes.
For that. Pax-Immune is a good choice. Shout out to Sister Ann, who let me know that she did go ahead and get hers. So shout out to Sister Ann for that.
All right.
All praises due to Allah.
My sister Charlene.
Yes, it is. Shout out to Sister Charlene. And you know, she got her Pax-Immune as well.
That's right. We
She
building
part
the
of
immune
the
system
team.
up over here.
She's part of the team around here.
That's right.
So, all right, family, we're not going to hold you any longer. May Allah continue to bless each and every one of you. Be the best because you're absolutely the best.
Yes.
And remember to let the spark in your mind create a new reality. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings, fam. Have a wonderful evening and an awesome weekend. All right, it's the weekend. I know. What's the weekend? We do the same thing on Saturday that we do on Tuesday. But all praises due to Allah. If He bless us with another day, we're going to enjoy it. Assalamu alaikum.